Now, given that this is probably the only day in the next couple of months in which I'm going to get a chance to record a full day of eating, I thought to myself, why not do it today? So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll still record today's training because today actually is a training session day, training day, yeah. So I've got legs today. Although I do want to also record a full day of eating because if I don't, like I said, there probably won't be another chance for me to do so in the next couple of months. And so, yeah, I'll take you through what is basically a high day for me at the moment. I've got 3 kinds of days that I follow in terms of my nutrition. I've got my rest day or my low day. I've got my base day, which is essentially just a normal day where I do cardio, but I don't do training, weight training. And then I've got my high day, which is 3 days a week when I do my training sessions. So the base days, I still do a little bit of training. It's just not a training session. So it's basically cardio 7 days a week. On my high days, I do a proper dedicated weight training session plus cardio. And on my base days, I do my cardio and then like some little like pump fluff work, whether it's abs, calves, something like that. So that's essentially what I'm doing. So yeah, 3 base days, 3 high days, and 1 low day or 1 rest day. But today's a high day, so I'll take you through that. And the way I start my morning is with a coffee every day. I wake up, I basically go to the toilet. I'll do my morning routine in another video. I'm not gonna do all of that in one video, it's just too much. Go to the toilet, weigh myself, record that, test my blood pressure, my resting heart rate. I record those, and then I basically get started with my day. Make a coffee, and I just got this mug recently, which I absolutely love. So, coffee in here. I'm still tracking my fluids, but I'm being a little bit more liberal with my fluid consumption now because it seems like my body's handling it. So this cup, I've eyeballed it enough times, about 1/4 of an inch from the top. If I fill it 1/4 of an inch from the top, which is what I do, it is 250 ml. So 1/4 of a litre. So let's put 1 Splenda in here. Yes, it's a high day. Yes, I'm still using Splenda. Yes, get over it. And then, so 1 Splenda and 1 teaspoon of instant freeze-dried coffee. Now, if you are not getting this freeze-dried coffee, you are failing at life. That is the best. Don't bother with any of that Nescafe bullshit. Don't bother with that Folgers bullshit. Get some Moccona coffee. I can't remember where this is from actually. I can't remember if it is Australian or it's made in Australia, but looks like it's packed in the Netherlands from imported coffee. So yeah, you should be able to get this in the States. You should be able to get this in the UK. I don't know how difficult it would be, but if you're going to go with freeze-dried coffee, instant coffee, go with Moccona. It tastes the best, guys. So that. And I don't track my coffee towards my calories, by the way. Even though I do put what you'd say a dollop of low-fat, lactose-free milk in it, I still don't track it. I just keep it as a constant variable. Now, am I saying you should not track your coffee? No. I'm just saying that's how I do things. If your coach expects you to track everything, track everything. If your coach lets you just have a constant fixed variable like I have here, then you can do that. If you don't have a coach, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. So that's basically coffee. I also have, I'll show you, be right back. I also every morning have one Royal Gala or Fuji apple. And no, I don't track this either. It's a constant fixed variable. I just have one small Fuji apple or one small Royal Gala apple. And I basically eat this, just get back in frame here. So I eat this and I drink my coffee and then I go on my morning walk. So it's not really fasted cardio or fasted walk, but it's a morning walk nonetheless. And usually it's about 6,000 steps. I'll either do multiple laps around the block or I'll walk to the shopping center, the shopping mall, which is about 50 minutes away from here. And by the time I walk there, go into the grocery store, get a couple things, I've done about 6,500 steps. And that's basically how I start my day every day. So I'll do this and yeah, probably see you back here for meal number one. But so I figured I'd just charge my watch and my phone a little bit before I go on my walk, because my phone is at 50% and my watch is at about 60%. So usually I have these fully charged already, but I forgot to charge them last night, so they're a little bit flat. And the last thing I want is my phone to die while I'm heading to the shops, if I do decide to walk to the shops, or if my watch should die while I'm walking. I doubt the watch will die, but I just like to charge it first thing in the morning, so it's one less thing that I have to think about later in the day, because the last thing you want to do is when you have a busy day is to just be kind of constantly bombarded with little things that you haven't yet done, which you should have probably done earlier in the day. First sip of the coffee is always good. Now, I used to go to the coffee shop down the road, walk down there and get a coffee there on my morning walk and then come back, but it just, I guess it just occurred to me how much of a waste of money that was. As much as I enjoyed it and as much as Michaela enjoyed the coffee too, like it just adds up, you know. If you're having one of those every morning, if there's two people getting a coffee every morning, that's, depending on what size you get, where you get it from, it can obviously range. There's a bit of a price bracket, but as much as say $12 for two coffees every morning, 7 times 12, end of the week, you're spending over $80. Like it's, what is it, $84 or something like that. So it's a lot of money. And you think about that over a stretch of a month, like over $300 a month on takeout coffee. So that right there is pretty much it's close to a car repayment, to be honest. So yeah, you buy a jar of instant freeze-dried coffee, you sacrifice the novelty of going to a coffee shop and the quality a little bit, you still get your caffeine hit, you live, you're not going to die, and you save a lot more money. So yeah, that's the way I see it. Now, don't get me wrong, like if you enjoy your takeout coffees, get them. Just understand that every kind of, because it's a luxury at the end of the day, every luxury in life has a cost, has a price tag attached to it. And the more luxuries you have in life, the more those prices kind of stack up and add up. And it's not about not enjoying, I suppose, certain luxuries in life, but rather just auditing and I suppose regulating how many you have. Like if coffee's your only vice, then by all means, like there's nothing bad about that. But if you've got all these other things that you like to spend money on, or even just one or two other things you like to spend money on, then you have to be a little bit more strategic and mindful with how you're spending money, I think. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to just piss away a lot of money very quickly. So just think about where your money's going. I think that's one thing that my generation and the generations after mine don't think about enough is, I just think, oh yeah, in the immediate term, this costs X amount of money. And they don't really consider the repercussions of just stacking expense after expense after expense on top of one another until it's kind of too late, where they get, say, 3 or 6 months down the line, and then they look back and they realize they've got payments coming out of their wazoo to like several different things, and they're wondering why they never have any money at the end of the month, because they're basically living paycheck to paycheck, and it's all going out to these kind of, I don't want to say useless expenses, but just things that don't really bring that much fulfillment to people. I think a lot of the time we get caught up in the, like I said, the immediate term. And I kind of watched this growing up. One of my relatives, one of my family members, as much as I love them, they lived by the paycheck, and it didn't just make their life hard, it made everyone's life hard around them, because they just didn't have a concept of delaying gratification, saving money. And it wasn't really a good kind of, I guess, lesson to the impressionable people around them. And let's just say that, to keep it, I guess, vague and ambiguous. What I might also do, actually, before I go on my walk, is I might put some rice on in the rice cooker. I think I'm pretty much out now. So do that, then the walk. I've got a checklist for the day, which I'm looking at right now. So I've got the put on rice. I've got to respond to Instagram messages. If I don't put that on a checklist, I forget. I'm really bad with social media. Measure fasting body weight, resting heart rate, blood pressure, which I've already done. It was 100 on 63, and the heart rate was, I believe it was 53 beats per minute. Yeah. So good vitals there. Body weight, sitting around what it does every morning, around 107 kilo, give or take a few 100 grams. And I'm not really concerned with gaining weight or losing weight at the moment, just basically maintaining weight and slowly improving body composition if I can. But there's obviously a ceiling to how much I can do that with 100 milligrams of TRT a week. So, yeah. And so from that, just the usual morning emails, WhatsApp messages, Thursday client check-ins, collect a parcel. I've got a parcel arriving today. Just some hats for the gym. I've got to train, record my training session. I've got record a full day of eating on my to-do list. So that, I've also got to respond to my accountant. And evening walk / steps, daily 25 minutes of cardio, aiming for 110 to 130 beats per minute. So bit of a list, but I will get through it all, no doubt. Also got to go to the grocery store, get some more zucchinis, apples, and hot sauce. So I'll probably walk to the supermarket today, to be honest, and pick those things up, and then maybe just Uber back if I don't want to walk back. All right, so usual culprit, meal number one that I've been showing in a couple of my other videos, accompanied by the leaning tower rice cakes. So this isn't my full meal one, it's just part one. I also have another part to it, which is basically just more rice cakes with some jam. Whether I show that or not, I'm not sure, but if I put the macros up on the screen for the meals today in this video, I'll put the macros for the entire meal, not just this, but also the jam and the additional rice cakes. Yeah, going to have this. I've got a cup of biscuit flavored tea in my coffee mug, and yeah, basically have this with my morning medication. This meal I've already gone over it, so I don't really need to go over it again, but I will just for the sake of it. So it's ground chicken breast, then sauteed veggies, vegetables, beetroot, zucchini, and mushroom. And then I've got some tomato relish on here. I've got some sauerkraut, beetroot flavored sauerkraut. I've got some nutritional yeast, which I like to put on just to give it a bit of a cheesy cheesy taste. And the meal is cooked with a bunch of spices: cinnamon, paprika, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, ginger, cumin, and I believe turmeric as well. Yeah, so yeah, several different spices just to add a lot of flavor to it without adding any sodium. And then yeah, a little bit of hot sauce as well, a low sodium hot sauce that is. So that's basically my meal number one, or part one of it at least. So I'm gonna eat this, dive into some client messages. I've got a lot of WhatsApp messages to get back to from yesterday, or from last night I should say. So that, and then also get a head start on check-ins for the day. I've got my third day of check-ins for the week today. I've got another day of check-ins tomorrow, and then that'll be check-ins polished off for the week. Yeah, that's essentially it. Medication-wise, like heart medication, I've got empagliflozin to take this morning. I've also got half of my ARB, valsartan, and I've also got eplerenone, so half a tablet of eplerenone, which is 12.5 milligrams, I believe. So yeah, 10 milligrams of empagliflozin, 12.5 milligrams of eplerenone, and 20 milligrams of valsartan. So I'll take those. I've also got some vitamin C I take, and then I'll dive into this meal and work for the day. See you at either part 2 of meal number 1 or meal number 2. Oh, actually, I'll eat some for the camera. People like to watch this weird shit. That wasn't sarcasm, by the way. It's actually really nice. If you like beetroot, if you like chicken, well, if you just like the ingredients in general that are listed in this meal, you would love this meal. So I highly suggest making it. I just do ground chicken breast. I prefer the texture. Same reason I do rice cakes instead of rice. I prefer the texture. But if you prefer rice, if you prefer regular chicken breast that isn't ground, then by all means substitute those, and it really doesn't fucking matter. It just changes the texture of the meal at the end of the day, not the macros. So yeah. Also, one other supplement that I forgot to mention I'll be taking alongside my morning medication is the Inerdose Digestade. So arguably I'd say this is the best digestive product on the market in Australia. You've got, a handful of enzymes like all digestive enzyme products have, but it's just got good dosages or good amounts of each enzyme in this. And I find that's probably the biggest issue in the Australian market with a lot of digestive enzyme products out there. I'm not going to name any brands, but a lot of the time they underdose specific enzymes, whether it's due to, cost constraints, stuff like that. But Inerdose is really comprehensive. They got a good variety and a good dosing of each digestive enzyme that's included. So you've got lactase in there too, which not all digestive enzyme products have, surprisingly. So you get a little bit of support if you're semi-lactose intolerant or completely lactose intolerant. So yeah, good product. Gonna have one of those. I have one of those 3 times a day with 3 of my meals, usually every other meal, every second meal. And if you want to save yourselves some money, you can save 10% off by using my code STATUE at checkout. I've got a link to their website in the description of the video down below. So feel free to just jump in there, click on the link, and that'll take you to their website. You can just basically add whatever you want to your cart and put in my discount code, and it'll save you 10% off. It'll help me out in the process too. And then if there is ever any kind of sale promotion on at the time, you might even get more than 10% off if you use my code. So yeah, food for thought. But I'm going to dive into this meal now and then dive into work subsequently after that. And I'll see you guys for either part 2 of meal 1 or meal number 2. Okay, part 2 of meal 1. Just cover my face so the camera focuses. Basically just rice cakes, 50 grams of jam, and I don't always do it, but lately I've been putting PB2 on there as well, so just 10 grams of PB2, just to kind of make like a PB&J flavor. But yeah, what is it? 7 rice cakes, 50 grams of jam, 10 grams of PB2, and the jam that I use is Bon Maman. It's the best jam, hands down. if you're going to use any jam, definitely get that. It's a French brand, but it's available pretty much around the world. I've seen it in Thailand. I know it's available in America. I know it's available in the UK because of my clients, and I know it's available in Australia because I live in Australia. So yeah, definitely the best jam out there, guys, if you haven't tried it yet. So yeah, I'll smash these and then it's time to dive into work. But that's basically meal number one in a nutshell. So the thing that I had before, and then followed up with this. I decided to tip my tea out too, by the way. I was really feeling a second coffee, so I've got a second coffee here now as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so we're at the gym. It is 3:15, so finished all my check-ins for the day. All the team have been responded to. And it's time for me to get my leg session in. So yeah, it'll be a somewhat kind of, not rushed session, but I guess just a time sensitive session, let's just put it that way. So legs, usually I train triceps at the end of legs obviously, but I might skip that and just do that say tomorrow, or on my back and tricep day I'll do extra tricep volume. Which means the session will run as follows. So hamstring curl, pendulum, or belt squat, the single leg press, the hammer strength isolateral leg press, the one that I really like. It's really quad dominant. After that, it'll be into the single leg extension and glute extension. So I was doing bilateral leg extensions, but I want to switch it to single leg extension just so I can get more out of it. And I'll just do 2 sets each side then, because I find when you do single leg movements or single arm movements, you don't need quite as many working sets to get the same degree of stimulus. You can kind of get away with doing 1 less set. So that way I'll just make the session a little bit more efficient because I'm doing less total working sets. And even though you're doing kind of like double the sets when you do single leg or single arm movements, you're not resting between each side really. So it ends up being quicker in the end still. So yeah, hamstring curls, pendulum or belt squat, single leg press, leg extension, glute extension, and that'll be it. But pre-workout snack, 2 LCMs. Technically it's meant to be 4, but because I'm a bit strapped for time, I'll see how I go. I did recently increase it to 4 just to meet my carbohydrate demands a little bit easier, so I'm not having as much food later in the day. But yeah, we'll see how I feel. I won't record all of this though, because it'll be a bit boring me eating this on camera, so I'll smash these and I'll see you guys in there for the session. Alright, did 1 fearless set of 46. Felt very light, to be expected. 46 pounds is very light. So I believe last week I was doing 81 or 88 pounds, so I tried 81 for the first set and then base the next one off of that. So yeah, the weight is bang on perfect, I'd say. So 81 was a good call. I think 88 would have just been a touch too heavy. Don't get me wrong, I could have done it, but it would have costed me a few reps. So I was probably going to land around that like 8 rep territory for my working sets, which I mean technically is still within the rep range I'm targeting, which is 8 to 12 on this, but I'd rather fall in the middle or toward the end of the rep range, ideally, just because you get a little bit more volume per set. But yeah, if I was training everything more frequently, say like twice a week, then I wouldn't mind going on the lower end of the rep range, because I'm just not getting quite as much volume when I'm training the way I am right now versus training twice a week. If I was hitting hamstrings and glutes twice a week, then I could afford to say get less volume per set and I guess be a little bit more mindful of how much fatigue I'm accumulating with each working set. But because I'm hitting everything once a week, I don't need to worry about the slightly higher fatigue cost of higher rep sets. So I'd rather fall on the higher end of the rep range, basically. But one more of these, and then onto the first squatting movement. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this will be a working weight or not. We'll just have to wait and see, because all I've done is a warm-up set with just the machine. But I put 2 plates on here, so we'll see how this feels and go from there, essentially. Feels heavy. Okay, now that first set was definitely heavy enough. I got 13 reps, but I could probably clean the reps up a little bit, go a little bit slower on the eccentric, and that should shave things off a rep or two and land me ideally in the 8 to 12 rep range, which is what I'm trying to maintain on this exercise. So I'll try to slow the negatives on this next set, still go just as deep as I was, but just a little bit less of a myotatic stretch reflex at the bottom, and see if I can kind of get the desired proximity from failure within 8 to 12 reps instead of hitting 13 again. Get some Linkin Park playing, some old school Linkin Park, high voltage. Alright, so bit of a warm-up set. I just feel 3 plates out because last week when I did this, I think 4 plates seemed to pan out to be the appropriate working weight, so I'll just do 1 warm-up set quickly, a few reps, nothing crazy, and then bump it right up to 4 for the first working set. Do both of the working sets of 4 plates rather than just 1 this week. Let's get some good music. First set. I think I've got a couple more reps in me, but I adjusted the seat forward on that working set. I think I put it 1 notch or 2 notches too far forward. Just threw off the overall mechanics of the movement. Felt like it was loading up my hip joint more than my quads. So what I do is I'll put the seat back 1 or 2 notches for the final second working set. Same weight though. Weight feels fine, it just felt like, in comparison to the warm-up set, excessive stress on the hip. And the first set, even though the range of motion arguably might have been a couple inches shorter, I felt all that active tension through the quads, so that's what I'll do for the next set. You know, this set should be a lot better. It's just like 1 notch further back. Actually, you could probably go 1 notch further back still, because the way I'm engaging it is basically when I'm working 1 leg at a time, if my other leg on the floor is obstructing with the actual machine, then I feel like I probably need it back like 1 notch. So I'm gonna put it back 1 more notch, I think. Slightly shorter range of motion, but small price to pay if it feels a lot better on the joints. All right. So I've got roughly, I believe, 15 minutes to finish this session off. Leg extensions and either adductors or glute extensions. Probably glute extensions because they will be more worthwhile my time, but we'll see. I think it was 59 last time.
Well, yeah, well, you and Maddie called me, obviously, but Dave reckons you put something on the WhatsApp chat on like midnight or something and deleted it, and never saw what it said. Fucking hell, that's decent.
The only downside of leg extension machines when you're a taller person with long arms is the handles. It's the opposite problem that short people have. I can reach the handles too easily that my arms are kind of like bent like this when I'm gripping tightly. So a lot of the time I try to find something further down to hold on to. In this case I can hold on to like where the handles bend under and attach to the machine.
I did carnival for about 3 weeks and then I did keto for about 4 weeks straight after. Yeah, fucking oath. I was so fucking sick of meat after 3 weeks. Well, not sick of meat, I just wanted something else. Yeah, so I did carnival for 3 weeks before and I lost 90 kilos. Well, I put like 5 kilos back on going to the gym and eating all again.
I've decided I'm going to do these instead of glute extensions. I'll do glute extensions on my back day in 2 days time. Is that right? Yeah, Saturday, 2 days time I'll do my back session. And I'll tag some glute hamstring work on the end of that, probably glute extensions and some more hamstring curls. What do I got here? 82 kilo. Yeah, 180 pound. Just 2 shy of the full stack. Have a bit of a sip of the good old EAAs before this final set out of my Ronix supplements shaker. So if anybody who's watching is ever out in Gympie, I doubt it, but if you are, that's Gympie in Queensland, hit up Ronix supplements because the owner is an awesome bloke and they've got a good range, especially given the location of the supplement store. It's in a pretty small remote town and yeah, they've got a good range, better range than most bigger supplement stores in more well-populated towns. All right. That was good. Now this is a very far less than ideal high day. I'll give you that. It's just after 6:30 at night now. We're finally home. Yeah, now I'm diving into what's technically officially meal number 2 of the day. If you don't count the pre-workout snack as a meal, it is. If you do count it, then this is meal number 3. But this is basically my post-workout meal. As you can see here, it's cereal with some frozen blueberries. So I've got 100 grams of cereal. I mix it between 2 cereals. I've got this high fiber gluten-free one, which I use just to bump up my soluble and insoluble fiber for the day. And then I've also got rice checks in here, so half and half basically. So 50 grams of rice checks, 50 grams of the, it's basically Tiny Teddy's cereal. It's got psyllium husk, it's got chickpea or besan flour in it, a few other things that just boost the fiber content up quite a bit without adding any gluten containing grains. I'm not gluten intolerant, I guess, or celiac, but I just find when I don't eat a high gluten diet, things just tend to process better, especially on my high days. The last thing I want is something that's a little bit, I guess, slower for my body to process. So I tend to steer clear of it. And I just enjoy the taste of this cereal, to be honest. So that, and then just a scoop of hydrolyzed whey. Just got vanilla flavored because I'm boring white cis male. And yeah, so I'll eat this. I'll dive into a few emails. There's also some responses I have to get back to from people's check-ins today, so I'll go into WhatsApp to do that. But I've still got to go back to the gym. Funny enough, I've got my cardio to do still, so 25 minutes of cardio on the elliptical, and then I've just got to finish my steps off for the day. So probably another hour at the gym, I'm afraid. But yeah, even though it's nearly 6:45, it doesn't matter. You've still got to get the stuff done. And that's the thing, like you get to a point, I think you come to a point of realization once you get to a certain age in life. Like I got to this point of realization a few years back, because I'm 30 now, where I just realized, you know what, if I don't do the work, nobody's going to fucking do it for me. It doesn't matter, it's irrelevant that I might want to sit at home or have a nap. Shit needs to be done in order to get the end result. So I've just got to grit my teeth and basically do it. And it's one of those things, like you just have to become your own parent at a certain point in life. I mean, there's a certain point you can get away with it, but eventually you cross this line where you have to step up to the plate and be, I guess, yeah, that parent guardian figure for yourself. And usually it follows at a certain point within the first few years of moving out of home. For me, it was a little bit later because I've lived out of home since I was 17. So, I mean, I came to that realization in my mid-20s, I'd say. So it took me about 7 years. But once I realized it, my life exponentially got better because I was more productive. I was able to get stuff done more efficiently. And as a result, yeah, things were just, I guess, less uncomfortable. Like, don't get me wrong. Like you're going to have periods where you just, you just really don't want to do what you need to do, but you've got to step up to the plate. Like there's no other ifs or buts or ways about it. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm rambling right now. I'm pretty depleted. I'd say my blood sugar levels are quite low right now after training legs. So I'm going to enjoy this thoroughly and then dive into some, like I said, emails and some WhatsApp replies. Here's a close-up of the cereal. And just watching Georgie Boy on YouTube while I eat this. Oh. Now would you look at that? Aren't I just exciting and full of thrills and surprises? So back home from the gym now. It's 9:15 at night. I've got my cardio done for the day. I've got my steps boxed off. Training's all done. All the check-ins from today are done. There's one late check-in from Tuesday that I'm going to get to after I eat this meal. But this is basically my dinner meal, which is meal 3, repeat of meal number 1. Same quantities, same ingredients. So I won't kind of go through it again. You can just rewind and go back to the start of the video if you want to see what it is and what's in it. But I'm going to eat this, do that late check-in, and then it's a little bit of clock off time for the fiance and I. We're going to watch the rest of, it's called Gemini Man. Yeah, the Gemini Man with Will Smith. I still haven't gotten around to seeing it yet, so neither is Michaela, so we figured we'd watch it. We started it last night, but got a little bit late, so we stopped it and we'll finish it tonight, hopefully. But yeah, it's already 9:15, or now it's actually 9:20, so got a little bit to go. A couple more meals after this one, so it's going to be a uncomfortable night's sleep, I think. I'll definitely be using a CPAP machine to keep my airways open and get a good night's rest or a good night's sleep. And it's a big day tomorrow. We're headed to the Sunshine Coast to meet up with a couple of my athletes. We're going to touch base in person. I'm looking forward to it, but it's going to be a big day, so I definitely want to try wrap this day up as efficiently as I can and as quickly as I can. I don't know when this video will be out. I guess time will tell, but within the next few days. But I'll smash this, have my evening medication. Got my dandelion tea here, so dandelion root tea. Nice caffeine-free beverage that's arguably, depending on how you look at it, good for the kidneys. And yeah, I'll see you guys for the next meal. All right, so it looks like we're taking a rain check on the Gemini Man. Michaela's pretty tired, so she's gone to bed. And that leaves me here to finish off my food for the remainder of the day, or night, I should say. Now that it's 20 to 11, it's literally 10:40. So this is my next meal. Protein oats. So I've got oats, frozen blueberries, cocoa powder turned into a sludge, a chocolate sludge that I pour over the top. I've got a scoop of hydrolyzed whey, vanilla flavor by Primabolics. I've also turned that into a sludge and I poured that over the top. Then I've got a sprinkle of cinnamon, some golden flaxseed for some omega-6s, and a drizzle of honey. I use Manuka honey just because of the additional antibacterial properties. So that's basically this meal. Very nutrient dense, packed with fiber, soluble and insoluble fiber, a decent serving of protein, and it tastes very good. So I'm going to eat this and then I'll see you guys for the next meal. But if you're wondering where I got the cocoa powder or cacao powder sludge idea, I got it from my friend Elijah. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel in the description, but I always watch Elijah's videos. He's a real cool dude, down to earth, love his videos. So yeah, shout out to you, Elijah, if you're watching this. But yeah, I actually really like it. Basically, you mix water and just either some flavor drops or a packet, like a sachet of artificial sweetener with cocoa powder, and you turn it into a sludge, similar to how you turn protein powder into a protein sludge, and you just pour it over the top, and it tastes really good. So I'm going to dive into this, enjoy this, and I'll see you for the next meal. Okay, next, I guess you could call it, they're going to fall off if I try to show you this. I might have to pick the camera up. That's the next meal, snack, whatever you want to call it. So just kind of like a repeat of the rice cakes earlier today. So rice cakes, bon maman jam, and 10 grams of PB2 mixed in with the jam, and I've just spread that over here. Just a shitload of jam to get some carbohydrates in. And the rice cakes, obviously more carbohydrates, and then just a little bit of trace protein and fats from the 10 grams of PB2, but just enough to kind of give it a peanut butter taste, but it's mostly jam. So I'll hook into this, and then I'll show you guys what will likely be the last thing that I eat tonight. So yeah. All right, so this is the next meal that I'm eating, or snack. Just some mango sorbet, fat-free vanilla Greek yogurt, and some cinnamon. Just some easy carbohydrates.